Hello, happy Monday, my savvy service provider, scaling to 10K months. We have such a fun conversation today. This is the surprising secret that has helped me scale to over 200K a year and is the reason I'm able to take the month of July off every summer and be with my kids in North Carolina on the top of a mountain, off the grid, totally removed from society. And this is just a great conversation, whether you want to take off 3 months for maternity leave or you want to take off a week or somewhere in between or like insert 500 other things in your business that you want and you just haven't gotten yet. Like this is the conversation. This is the real secret to all of that. So we will jump in today. If you're here live, say hello, throw your questions, throw your comments at me. I love having your feedback and your energy. Hello, is it Ariane? I always want to make sure I'm saying it right. I know my brain, I learned to read phonetically. And so I'm still like trying to learn that, but I think we've got it. But thank you so much for being here. This is a conversation that is going to go so much deeper than we normally go. So if you know anything about me, I've almost been in business 10 years in the online space. And this is the third July that I'm taking my kids to the top of a mountain. I take the month off. And so in prior years, I've talked about literally what does that look like? What is the back end of that? What does my VA do? What does my bookkeeper do? What do I do? And we're taking this in a totally different direction that is going to, in my opinion, and tell me, serve you so much better because it kind of doesn't make sense for me to tell you exactly what I do. But this is the thought process that you need. Like, I still bring in consistent high ticket clients. I only work part-time hours when I'm here normally. I've built a business that doesn't need me to hover or, be on call 24/7. And so if any of that is resonating with you, this is the conversation to have today. So tell me hi. We'll have a special giveaway for someone who comments either live or on the replay. This will be a free coaching call, a strategy session for someone who I haven't had the pleasure of connecting with. So be sure to throw your comments here. Again, this will be the last one until August. We will have popular replays coming out every week. So keep your eyes peeled for those. If you're on the newsletter list, we'll be sending reminders for those and just kind of posting those like we normally would. So we still have some good stuff coming out for you. So we will dive in. Let me pull myself up. There I am. I have got a heated blanket on right now. Like it is 100 degrees in Charleston with like crazy high humidity, but we are bumping the air conditioner in this part of the house right now. We have like this old part of the house and we did like 5 years ago, like a renovation and an addition on the house. And that air conditioner where we sleep is broken. So we are like bumping this air conditioner, like using fans to like push it back to that other part of the house. So kind of like freezing right now. And I was on like calls this morning and I had on like my cozy sweater and then I was like, okay, like I've got to change, but I've also got, if you see me move around with my heated blanket, like that's what's going on right now. Again, if I walked outside, I would be a sweaty mess. So let's dive in. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jordan Ilderton. I support clients to pivot from low ticket, done for you hourly services where they're bending over backwards, where they're apologizing for their rates, where they're having to prove themselves, improve their worth, improve their rate, helping them move into a new offer that just commands a higher price tag that is more transformational for someone versus transactional. And this is a conversation that's bigger than this live stream today, but this is where we need to be going for, just with everything going on in the world with AI and economy stuff, like we need to move away from the stuff that when someone gets low on cash, that's the first thing they cut. Like me with bookkeeping, like we've had clients go out of business. We've had clients severely, decrease cash and they, hand over their bookkeeping to their spouse or whatever. So we've got to be proactive. And that's what I'm supporting clients to do, whether they support other business owners or whether they're in health or wellness or coaching. We've got to create something that is not replaceable with AI. So that's what I'm supporting people to do. And if anything in this conversation today, you feel it in your gut and you're ready to make your life, your business work for your life versus the other way around, whether it's taking a month off or 3 weeks off or 3 months off or just 1 week, like if anything resonates with you, I have a one-to-one spot. I'm opening in August. I'm holding calls now for the right person to fill that. This is a 6-month coaching container where I go deep and really truly partner with you in your business to not only create the offer, but be able to successfully launch and sell it, because that is the meat and potatoes. It's easy to create something beautiful on paper. And yes, we can say it practically sells itself. And selling high ticket, selling a transformation, selling something that isn't just like, the done for you bookkeeping or photography or website design. Selling a transformation does require a different sales process. It does require our marketing and our content, our positioning and our messaging to be on point. We've got to nail that. That's what I do with my clients. I'm reviewing their web pages. I'm reviewing content. They're IDing with me in Voxer every day about posts or reels, or this person, has an objection about this. Like, if you hire me for one-to-one support in 6 months, I am all in your business. We know each other. We roll deep. So grab a coaching consult, because again, this is for the right person. So today's conversation is important because I know a lot of women see someone making 5 figures a month. I think I've had like 48 consecutive 5-figure months at this point. I crossed over 200K a year for the past 4 years now. And, I take a month off in July, and so many women think I could never do that. And that's why I want to have this conversation, because I want to show you how this became possible for me, and more importantly, how you can take this and apply it to your business, whether it's 10K months, 50K months, a month off, a week, whatever. Like, this is the bigger conversation that you've got to have with yourself. So that is what we're talking about today. So the real problem that my previous live streams where I talked about what my VA does, or, the real problem I see most people not talking about is really that it's not the strategy that's keeping you stuck. It's waiting for permission, whether you're waiting for the online space to give you permission, whether you're waiting for your spouse to give you permission, whether you're waiting for your potential clients and your new high ticket clients, or your new offer, or your mother-in-law, or your friends from college. We so often are waiting for someone else to give us permission, or to have some kind of crystal ball to know that things work out. And that's just literally not the case. So that's kind of the secret that we're talking about today. And so many of us as women, especially moms, like, we have this thinking where we've kind of been told that the goal, like, we need to earn our rest, or I can rest once I do this, or I can invest in coaching or invest in support once I hit this dollar amount, once I have this number of clients, once I do this. We think we need to, have a certain number of years or testimonials or wins before we can pivot to high ticket. And of course, be who you say you are, have the goods, be the real deal. Like, everyone, but obviously I can only speak to the people I've connected with, but everyone I've had calls with, they are the real deal. They have the experience. They can support someone in a transformation way better than most of the people online. They are very qualified. And so what I see so often is people waiting to get more experience, or waiting to get shinier results before they really speak it and own about it. But you're allowed to decide now, like, what you want. So let's dive into that conversation, because let me know if you have any comments, questions. I'll kind of keep checking, because sometimes they don't show up on my phone. Okay, nothing so far. So I used to think that I needed to hit a certain milestone to invest in support, or earn time off. And I even we think about this outside of business, like with desserts, it's like, oh, it's the weekend, or, oh, and I don't drink. I stopped drinking like 2 years ago, but it'd be like, oh, well, I had our day. I deserve this. We have such conditioning just to think that we have to work and earn something. And so this is what we're talking about today, is just so much more simple, because you're not working, you're not waiting, you're not trying to earn anything. You literally are the only person who can give it to yourself. So let's kind of talk about, and I know this is very like personal to me, but I thought it was helpful to share kind of like my perspective, especially since I call this my surprising secret. Like, I can talk through client examples if that's helpful. And if you want any, feel free to request that. I really didn't go back and like dig and pull stuff, but we can talk through that, because this was like a very personal live stream. But let's talk about 5 years ago. I was a bookkeeper. I was a bookkeeper for 5 years before I pivoted to high ticket. And I did all the trainings about value-based pricing and increasing rates and all of that. And I basically raised rates from like, when I started, I was charging $35 an hour. 5 years in, I wasn't exactly at 35 an hour. I was at, agreed upon procedures pricing. And so hopefully it was more than that. But with clients, it was always hard to tell. But basically, I decided to go from that, 150 a month, maybe 400 a month, maybe 500 a month. We had a couple of clients at like 800 a month, but the back end work was significant for that. So what I'm saying is I pivoted 4 years ago to a $9,000 offer. No one gave me permission for that. No, none of my current clients were like, you pivot to that and I'm going to hire you immediately. Like that did not happen. My husband was not giving me permission. I didn't have anyone in my life that was like, yes, go do that. I also had zero audience. I was a bookkeeper. All of my work came from referrals. It came from other, clients, like other CPAs. Like I had zero audience. Like if you scroll way back, I did not post anywhere. I had zero email list. I had zero funnel. I had zero anything, like literally nothing. I had a homemade website. I had pictures that my best friend, my sister took, like when I was dressed up. I mean, I had young kids that was like, oh, I had my daughter's baptism, so I washed my hair and I'm wearing a dress. Take a picture. Like those were my headshots. Like that was what I had when I pivoted to a $9,000 offer. Like I didn't know the first thing about funnels. I didn't know the first thing about selling online. I lived under a rock, especially having 3 kids very young in quick succession. I had a child in 2015, 2016, 2018. Like things were crazy. And I came out from under this rock. That was the feeling, was like, I cannot do this bookkeeping anymore with just this. Like I feel this call in my heart. No one was giving me permission. No one was saying this was going to work out. My parents, no one even knew what online was. Like even my husband, if he comes home for lunch right now and he hears me doing a live stream, he's like, I don't know who you're talking to in there. Like he's a builder. It makes zero sense to him. No one in my life gave me any of this permission, but I did. So that is like the first kind of milestone. So the second milestone was I hired a one-to-one coach when it didn't make sense. I had done a group program, which was $9,000. I did a mastermind that was $4,000, which both of those were just stupid amounts of money for what I was getting. I mean, my one-to-one isn't cheap, but the deal that I give and the support I give is beyond anything those courses. Like I had to wait my turn to talk. I had support coaches. They didn't know who I was or my business. It was bonkers to think how much money I spent on something that I just wanted like a copy paste formula. But that is neither here nor there. But I hired a one-to-one coach. I was making about $5,000 a month. I had 3 kids in private daycare, private schools, because we love Montessori. We did not get into the public Montessori schools. So the right choice as a mom, I wanted them to stay in Montessori. So I had 3 private childcare tuitions, which was $3,500 out of the gate. Like I made $5,000 a month. I paid $3,500 in tuition, and that's before software. That's before my coach. That's literally before anything else. I also hired team. I hired a bookkeeper because I literally could not create this new offer and support all of that bookkeeping stuff. Like my brain there's just 2 different ways of thinking, and I couldn't do it all at once. So I hired a bookkeeper. None of this made sense on paper. I cried looking at my profit margins because they went way down. But I was like, if I'm going to go for this one-to-one support, I've got to hire a bookkeeper to implement some of this stuff so I can move my brain over here. If I'm going to offer a $9,000 offer, I've got to learn how to do this. I've got to give myself the tools and the support that I need to make this successful. Like I tried selling it by myself. I tried, and no one teaches you any of this stuff in school. I'm a smart person. I could always study hard and get a good grade. I could do the thing and get the internship, but this was so freaking different. And I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to get the support I need to do it right. Again, no one in my life was telling me go for it. Like, wow, Jordan, like you might have to pull out of savings, or you might have to like not pay yourself for a month. Like no one was giving me that, like go for it. And so I just had to trust myself and let myself get that support. At the time, this is, along I called this like my permission timeline. So the next phase of that was letting go of clients who weren't working anymore, like who were no longer a fit. Like I brought them on as a bookkeeping client, struggled to make it work. And then as I was pivoting and moving into this new work and having a bookkeeper take on clients, it just made the most sense to let them go. So again, like not only did my profit margins go down because I had a one-to-one coach and I had a bookkeeper, I let go of some clients that I was like, this just fundamentally doesn't work. They are too needy. This is too involved. This is not something I can hand off to people. Like I literally had a lady who would drop off her statements in my mailbox every month. And I'm like, I have an online bookkeeper who works remotely. If you can't jive with that, like we can't make this work anymore. You can't, I had to let her go. And so revenue went down there. Like I had to have, none of it made sense. I had to have so much trust that this was all working, that I had this higher thing. And I call it like the messy middle. Like things looked worse before they got better. And now it's like, I'm on the other side, but I had zero crystal ball. I had zero evidence to tell me that it would work. I just knew in my heart, this is what I was meant to do. Coaching is like the light of my life. My clients get amazing results. I build long-term, beautiful relationships with them. They change as human beings, like not just their business, not just their revenue, not just their clients. They literally step into being this new person that just commands and is not willing to like take the bullshit that everyone hands them. And that is like the joy of all of this. So again, that's like the stepping stone along my timeline. And then at that point, I had the like foundation I needed to trust myself, because self-trust, I was on a call this morning. Self-trust isn't something that like we can do a week-long coaching intensive and you like, yeah, I have self-trust. Like that is literally not how it works. I wish, but we have to build it. We have to find the breadcrumbs. We have to show ourselves, and we have to build that self-trust, because this is something I talk about with clients all the time, is that if you're looking for the money, if you're looking the clients to give you that security and safety you're craving, we're going to be let down every single time. And I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, I've worked with clients at 20K months who felt scarce, who felt scared, who were waiting for the money to bring them that security. They got to 50K months and they are still scared and waiting for security, because now they have more to lose. Now they have a bigger team. Now they have more clients. They have just more money, more humans, more everything on the line. And if you've got to build that safety and security first, and that comes from having self-trust. And we literally cannot outsource that anywhere. So once I had built that self-trust, which it is a process, it's still something many of my clients are building and working on, and we're just constantly, I'm reflecting to them, and it's just this process that there's no like easy fix for, like, here's a journal prompt and you have self-trust. That's literally not how it works. But these milestones really helped me show myself that I could take a month off, because it sounded bananas at first. When I first brought it, it was a conversation I had with my coach. I remember it so well. Summers were crazy. Like with my clients, even their parents, like they can't show up fully for their coaching container. They've got kids running around in the background. They're going on vacation. Like they can't show up 1,000% in July. I couldn't show up 1,000% in July. So it just made sense. And I remember having this conversation with my coach about like, what if I just took the month off? And it felt bananas to like say it out loud, because I didn't know I could do that. But at that point, I had finally built up so much self-trust for myself, for my business, for my audience, for my team, for my clients. Like, I mean, that was a huge part of the conversation years ago, was like, what are my clients going to think? Are they going to be mad? Like, am I going to lose people? But I just had to have that trust. And like my clients, especially the ones who've been with me for 4 years, they love this work together, and they know that for a month they're okay. And it almost gives them the permission that they can't give themselves. Like, it's okay. There are going to be so many months out of the year, if you're a parent, that we are not like hitting the ground running. Like I said this in stories the other day, but it's like June, July, May, November, December. There are so many months out of the year that I'm more focused on like family stuff than I am growing my business. Like on my clients, 1,000%. I give them my all. Like my cousin, my brother-in-law's wedding, not my cousin. My brother-in-law's wedding was a couple weekends ago, and I'm still checking in with Boxer. I'm still there for my clients, even though it was a very heavy personal weekend. I love that. Like I kind of can't not. It's like my favorite thing on a Saturday morning, to sit with my coffee and like respond to client messages. Like I freaking love it. But where was I going with that? I had to trust myself and my business and my clients. So they know they can handle it for a month and it will be okay. We're, having our wrap up conversations this week about like, what are we working on? What's your focus for July? Um, all of that. And so they know like we pick back up in August and this is so fun. I always come back in August and my clients are on fire. They're like ready to hit it hard. Like right now, as parents, we're kind of all like worn out dish rags. But when we come back in August, I feel like having that break, everyone's on fire. Everyone's got ideas. People are just booking sales, booking clients, just coming up with downloads that they just are so lit up about. And that's just so, so fun. And it just reiterates like, it's okay for me to do this. So now that's my story. Those are my milestones. Now I want to move into what becomes possible when you give yourself permission. So take a moment. You can drop it in the chat, whether it's now or on the replay, but really think about, close your eyes, name, claim, visualize what you want. Is it, having consistent revenue without being on call 24/7? Is it booking high ticket clients without pushing or feeling like you're convincing someone or gripping something really tight? Is it taking time off without guilt or fear or drama? Is it having a launch where you fill all your spots and then you upsell to a VIP? Is it filling your high ticket one-to-one roster? Like, is it a hybrid or is it choosing a business structure based on your values, not what the industry is telling you? Like, I just want you to kind of take a moment and think about that because we're busy. We get wrapped up in like, yeah, like, okay, 10K months. I talk about 10K months all the time because they're so doable and they're so necessary as a self-employed person to make the money that you want, to pay team, pay taxes, pay yourself, save. Like 10K is just like a very like reasonable, normal number. But we can get so wrapped up in like what we hear or what people say online, or if you're in this industry, you need to be doing this offer or this thing. But I want you to think about what do you want, because no one online was talking about taking a month off. Like, or if they were, I didn't see it. So this was like a huge thing for me. It was a huge aha to be able to name and claim that. And that's literally the first step. So that's what I want you to do right now. So even, taking this journal prompt, doing a visualization, what's one thing you've been waiting for permission to do in your business? Again, this could be pivot to a new offer. This could be raise your rates. This could be get a new platform. This could be taking all your business online and stopping the in-person stuff. This could be creating a new sales process because the other one was janky and it didn't serve you. It was literally the call I had this morning. Like, it could be stopping blaming yourself for everything and instead showing up like a CEO who can problem solve. Like, what is that thing you've been waiting for in your business to have permission for? Or, what's the thing that feels wildly inappropriate? I like that one too. I love the wildly inappropriate part. Like, what's something that you're like, in a million years, I could never say this out loud to anyone. I've never told anyone. Like, what is the thing that feels so crazy? And just like name that. Like, we don't have to go do anything about it. Again, maybe it's the price you've been afraid to charge. Maybe it's an offer or a client that you want to let go of. Maybe it's the time off that you haven't let yourself consider. Like, whatever it is, let yourself name it and claim it and go there, because it's not just you. It is, I think I had a message. Oh, thank you. We're driving back, so my service is super spotty. Sorry, it's off and on. No worries. Come back, watch the live stream. I know we had, thank you so much for joining, Ariane. Ariane. I'm going to get it. I'm so sorry. Working on it. But thank you so much for joining, and give me your takeaways, because I know this is so relevant to us as women, as service providers, as people who are creating something new. So this is also not just about you. And I'm not saying we need to be a martyr for someone else. I'm not saying we need to, I don't know. I know this, what I'm about to say can get a little funky. So I'm going to try to phrase it the best way I can. But basically, this permission that you give yourself, your clients need that permission as well. Like, it's so easy for me to have sales conversations and talk about investing in yourselves when you quote unquote don't have the money, don't have the results, because that's what I did. Like, I did that. So it's very easy for me to support someone in that because I've done it. And when you're someone, whether it is raising your rates, whether it is creating a new offer, your potential clients looking to hire you for a transformation also need that permission. You've got to go first. Even if it's not something you're like bragging online on social media about, you have to be able to give yourself permission first, because it's really hard to support someone on a sales call or write a landing page or write sales promos telling them that they need to give themselves permission or helping them support themselves to give themselves permission when you can't do it yourself. This is one of those things that, again, this messaging can get really funky. I'm not saying like you have to invest yourself if someone else is going to invest in you. It's not that, but it is to say, I walk my talk. Like I can hold someone in a really uncomfortable AF position financially because I've been there. Like I'm not saying like I had bags of money sitting around when I invested in my coach, because I didn't. So anyone who comes to me, I can support them in that conversation because I've been there. I didn't have a crystal ball saying I could go from $500 a month offers to $9,000 a month offers. I did not $9,000 a month, $9,000 offers. My coaching is not $9,000 a month total. But it's the difference in that. I did not have that. So giving myself that permission to make the move to high ticket, to create something that is more of a transformation, to give myself permission to be able to let go of clients, to be able to invest in myself before I had the money, to give myself the time off. That was all stuff I had to be able to do first. And now when I'm on client calls, now when I'm on sales calls, I am so much better equipped to support someone with that because I have been through it. And again, the messaging around this can get funky. So I do not want to get this twisted, but I want you to think about like, if this conversation lit a fire in you, if you're feeling like you need to have results before you can do something, think about how that is going to cross over into your messaging, because you're probably going to think the same thing for your people. If you're like, yeah, they probably do need a certain amount of money before they can invest in me. They're probably going to need a certain amount of clients, or they're probably going to need a certain amount of results to hire me and pay me for the results that they want to get. Like, that's how that works. Like, I know the clients who hire me, they don't have bags of money. They don't have the clients. That's why they hire me, to help them do that. And I have a track record of being able to do that. I know even if someone doesn't quote unquote have the money sitting around, I am the best investment they can make because I am the best person to help them do that. Whereas if I just didn't fundamentally believe that, or I wasn't willing to invest in myself first, then yeah, if someone's, on a sales call and they're like, well, I don't have the money, then I'm probably co-signing their BS. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're going to need the money before you hire someone to help you make the money. Like, so again, this can get very wonky very fast, but I want you to just think about being able to show and support someone that is safe, that they can get a transformation they crave. And that's why I'm so confident. Some of my clients need to borrow my confidence in first, because I've been here for 9 years. I know what's possible. And so I'm just willing to be that voice and be that person to support someone. So again, if any of this conversation lit a fire in you, if you're feeling the pull to finally give yourself permission to want what you actually want. I mean, that's the big thing. What do you actually want? Can you name it? Can you claim it? Can you build it your way? Can you charge more? Can you not bend over backwards proving yourself? Can you not be the dancing monkey on sales calls? Can you trust yourself and your business more than the online space, more than the noise out there? Let yourself get what you want. Then it might be time to get my real one-to-one high level of support. Again, I'll put the link below, booking consults for this fall. But I'm basically the person that will be there to walk with you every step of the way. I am giving so much more support. The $9,000 coaching program I did, that was for 3 months. That was $3,000 a month. And I look at the amount of support and hands-on serving that I do, partnering with my clients. I just cannot believe what I paid for $9,000. So be very mindful of what you're getting into when you're quote unquote saving money or investing in like a course or a program or the copy paste formula. I've been here long enough to know that that doesn't work, but what does work is naming and claiming what you want and having someone to support you in the mindset piece, in the strategy piece, in the implementing, and everything in between, all the messy middle, the sitting in the gap, the waiting for the results, the beta test, the trying, the tweaking, like all of that. I am here to sit with that with you. So again, I'll put the link below, booking consults for that. I don't know if we're full this week, but again, you can have a call when I get back and we can hit the ground running then. But it's going to be a while. We'll have the replays going out. I cannot wait to see y'all back in August. I've got some great stuff and ideas already planned, so we'll be in touch. See you later. Bye.